Want to get right to our breaking news tonight. An active Amber Alert just into our newsroom a few minutes ago.
So this is specifically out of Kyle, Texas, which is a town in between San Antonio and Austin. Police there are looking for two 6-year-old girls, Jalen and Jordan Weber Daniels. Officers also looking for 20-year-old Kylie Glasgow in connection with their abduction.
They were last seen in a gold 2010 Honda Highlander, a 2010 gold Toyota Highlander with Texas license plate NDV2390. If you know where they are or know anything that can help lead to them, you're asked to call Kyle Police. That number on your screen right now, 512-268-3232. A ceasefire. Israel's cabinet has approved a plan that would halt their offensive on the ground in Gaza in exchange for the release of 50 of the 240 hostages in Hamas custody. A senior Biden administration official says they expect 3 Americans to be among the 50 women and children released. Among those 3 could be 3-year-old Abigail Moore Adan, whose parents were killed by Hamas in the October 7th surprise attack. The pause in fighting will last 4 days. 150 Palestinian prisoners will also be released by Israel as part of the agreement. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pledges despite the ceasefire, Israeli forces will continue their mission to return every hostage home and eliminate Hamas from Gaza.
Switching gears now, this is a subject that worries all of us, and that is crime. And tonight, that took center stage as the Bexar County Sheriff's Department discussed safety with neighbors over in Alamo Ranch.
Yeah, their meeting comes nearly 1 week after our second Know My Neighborhood episode focused on Alamo Ranch and the growing pains there, highlighting issues like a lack of deputies and an increase in car break-ins. The night team's Avery Everett spoke to community members who say they're finally feeling heard.
I think they're really on top of things, and we're going to be taken care of here.
A sigh of relief.
And right before the holidays, that's great. That's what we want.
With a renewed push of safety.
We need more deputies to patrol an area like this, and we also need to cut that bigger area into smaller, more manageable patrol districts.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Department addressed crime and safety in the Alamo Ranch area Tuesday night.
It's not cow pasture anymore. It's rooftops as far as the eye can see.
Directly connecting with the community and communicating increased crime efforts in and around Alamo Ranch.
Gives somewhat of a sense of security just to know that there's the heightened presence there.
Just last week in our Know My Neighborhood series, KSAT 12 talked about the growing pains of this neighborhood on the northwest side, including the lack of deputies and the large increase in car burglaries and break-ins.
It shined a light, and it can't be ignored anymore.
Just 1 day after our series aired, BCSO announced its mobile outreach unit would be parked in the neighborhood.
Alamo Ranch was one of those areas that we used as an example that we just need to be doing more.
The sheriff also announced that by the end of next summer, the Alamo Ranch area will be a part of a new BCSO response district in the area, which will include 2 more deputies circulating the community and even a substation for the sheriff's department.
They're dividing us up so that there won't be quite so many of us for the sheriffs. And I was really pleased to see that.
Promises that neighbors say they hope to see pushed through.
If we can get it to happen through the holidays, past the holidays, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
If you haven't heard by now, mountain cedar is back in the air. The season has begun about 10 days early, and this is the first registering of mountain cedar on the pollen count so far this season, and it's high at 710. Now, the north wind has really died down tonight, but it's still going to be out of the north, just lighter in nature, 5 to 10 miles per hour tomorrow, which is blown in from the hill country, blown in from cedar country, so we anticipate the mountain cedar to still be around throughout the day tomorrow with probably a similar count with that north wind at 5 to 10. We're going to talk more about Thanksgiving and an update to the potential for some light rain in just a bit.
Adam, thank you. A 19-year-old Medina County cold case has been cracked. 44-year-old Marisela Frausto was arrested last night and charged with capital murder in the 2004 death of baby Hope Medina. Now, Frausto is the biological mother of baby Hope. A rancher found her little body just off of County Road 448, just north of Hondo. That was back in September of 2004. An autopsy showed that the baby was born alive, but It's still unclear if she died before she was left on the side of the road. Medina County Sheriff Randy Brown says that his department thinks about that little baby all the time, and they promise to bring whoever was responsible to justice.
Out of hope, and it became Baby Hope, we're never going to stop.
Now, Frausto got a $1 million bond, and if she makes bail, she's going to be monitored by GPS.
Accused of killing her boyfriend, a mistrial declared in the sentencing phase of Amanda Montoya's trial after the jury could not agree on what her punishment should be. Montoya on trial for the murder of her boyfriend, Cesar Gallegos. The same jury convicted Montoya of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She was facing 5 to 99 years in prison. With the judge declaring a mistrial, a new jury will be seated and they will decide her punishment. No word yet when that will take place. In the meantime, Montoya will stay at the Bexar County Jail. Questions tonight after a deadly shooting this afternoon at a Northwest Side apartment complex. It happened on Whitby Road near Babcock. San Antonio police said the victim was shot inside of someone's vehicle and then fell out. The victim died at the scene. So far, no arrests have been made.
Texas lawmakers are nearly halfway through their fourth special session of the year. If you remember, it was actually 2 weeks ago today that Governor Greg Abbott called the legislature back in to focus on education and border security. And since then, they've sent one border security bill to the governor's desk. House lawmakers stripped a school voucher-like program, which is one of the governor's priorities, from his school funding bill last week. However, a House resolution and bill aimed at boosting school safety measures, that was referred to a Senate committee today. But that's going to have to wait until both Senate and House lawmakers return to work on Monday. In other news here, a man and a woman facing charges tonight after Comal County Sheriff's deputies found illegal drugs. Deputies, along with the county's narcotics and canine unit, discovered methamphetamine, black tar heroin, and around 60 fentanyl pills. They arrested the two suspects that you see there, and tonight they're both in the Comal County Jail. Now, fentanyl and other opioids and narcotics like the ones that those deputies found can ruin lives, and that is the message behind our Fighting Fentanyl series. As a matter of fact, if you scan that QR code that you see on your screen right now, it's going to take you to our stories about people who have experienced that devastation firsthand. We also dive into what's being done to stop the opioid epidemic.
Let's go to your Nightbeat news flash right now. 3 people dead, 3 more still missing after a landslide swept through Wrangell, Alaska. It's a small fishing town 150 miles south of Juneau. State troopers confirmed at least 1 woman rescued from the rubble, and one of the victims that died was a young girl. Meanwhile, rescue crews have deployed cadaver sniffing dogs and heat sensing drones to find the 3 remaining people missing. 1 person dead tonight after a small plane crash in North Texas. This plane came down just hours ago in a shopping center in Plano, just north of Dallas. The pilot, the person who was killed, according to the FAA, that was the only person on board that plane. No other injuries are being reported tonight. Right now, it is still not clear what caused the crash. And that's a look at your Nightbeat news flash.
Tomorrow marks 60 years since one of the darkest days in American history. John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963. But the day before, he was actually here in San Antonio. So 60 years ago today, the president and First Lady Jackie Kennedy took a 26-mile trip throughout the Alamo City. We have a link to the videos and photos of their trip on our website. Just look for this article over on KSAT.com. So this is the time of giving. And tonight, groups from across the community came together at the San Fernando Cathedral for a canned food drive. This is all in honor of the Thanksgiving holiday. Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Siller were also there.
San Antonio always goes all out for the holidays with the Riverwalk and the lights downtown.
Love it. And this year, there's actually a new holiday hangout spot in the Alamo City. Check it out.
Just got a little chillier on Houston Street, but that's okay because we're getting ready for Houston holidays on Houston Street, which is a brand new time-honored tradition.
Holidays on Houston, a new holiday spectacle. It's going to feature lights, festive decorations, and live entertainment.
Oh, it's so exciting. Okay, so it's going to kick off on Friday, along with the Ford Holiday River Parade and lighting ceremony. Holiday on Houston Street is going to run through January 2nd, so you'll have plenty of time to go and check it out. Now, we want you to stick around because coming up, many of you call the day after Thanksgiving Black Friday, but to plumbers, it's actually Brown Friday. Now, how to avoid having to call a professional the day after Thanksgiving. San Antonio, you were there for me, and now we want to do the same for you. When I shared news with you about my miscarriage, I was flooded with your messages of love and support. In fact, some of you even shared your own experiences with pregnancy loss and infertility. I know it's tough, but the one thing I learned from this is that you're not alone. We're not alone. So many people go through this, and that's why on November 30th, we're going to have a town hall here at KSAT that specifically focuses on infertility and pregnancy loss. We're going to have a fertility expert, a doctor, and we're also going to have a therapist. They're going to be here to answer your questions. So here's what you do. You click on this article, scroll all the way down, type in your questions, and then hit submit. We're here for you. And remember, don't suffer in silence.
Food, football, family gatherings, but mostly food usually mean big business for plumbers.
Yeah, they actually call the day after Thanksgiving Brown Friday because there's such a high demand for plumbing services.
Yeah, but as the night team's John Paul Barajas explains, there are ways to avoid being the next customer.
What starts with Thanksgiving cooking and cleanup leads to calls for Clay Saliva with George's Plumbing.
We get a lot of stopped up drains, so about 10 times as many calls as we normally get, we get for drain calls. And a lot of it could be preventable.
Saliva says his team has found everything from bones to eggshells to potato skins in garbage disposals. All things that shouldn't be there. And most common culprits, grease and oil.
So there's always water in the tank initially.
Throw in large families or groups using a few bathrooms, and that can be a big problem for the plumbing.
Your drain is like a tree. You have the main trunk line, and then you have all the branches that go to the different fixtures. So whether it's the kitchen or the toilet, when you start to overuse it, you overload the system.
So what can you do if you see overflowing water or hear bubbling or gurgling? He says step 1.
What I'll do is just turn this a quarter turn.
Cut the water to that fixture and call your preferred plumber. Yet the best way to avoid clogs is to flush your garbage disposal and your toilets often.
Turn on the water, and then turn on the disposer, and then put the food down it. And you want to give your disposer and the drain a good drink of water to flush everything down.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
All right, hopefully that doesn't happen in your home. Moving on. Just in time for the holidays, the Pearl Brewery is now home to a one-of-a-kind gift-giving experience.
Yeah, these are called giving machines. They're essentially kiosks that facilitate donations for charity groups in San Antonio. That list includes the San Antonio Food Bank, Pause for Service, and Catholic Charities.
Now, a lot of times there are people who want to do something for others, but they just don't know how. So this is really an awesome opportunity to buy a gift and do something really nice for someone else.
We think that, we're at our strongest when everybody comes together. So it made sense to us to have these at Pearl because we think that, things that are going to enhance the city are good for all of us.
Cool. Okay. Absolutely. So in these machines, you're going to see things like meal donations, textbooks, bus passes.
So the gifts in the machines, they start at $5 and they go all the way up to $200.
All right, just a few days left in No Shave November, and we are raising money for a good cause. Raising money for 12 different cancer foundations. If you would like to donate, scan the QR code on your screen to learn more. Last year, KSAT raised more than $30,000 to benefit cancer research, treatment, and prevention.
Awesome. Okay, now we're going to talk about what's happening outside. 48 degrees out there right now. Adam, tomorrow's supposed to be the busiest travel day of the year.
Yeah, and it's going to be great around Texas. Smooth sailing around here. It's just parts of the East Coast and New England you may run into a few issues. Our wind has already pumped the brakes. That's nice. It's calmed down. Temperatures running below average for the next 7 days, and some chilly mornings ahead starting tomorrow. Thanksgiving sprinkles still in the works and still possible. Let's take a look at our rain chances. We have it at 20% on Thanksgiving, and whatever happens to fall would be very light in nature, and then 20% late Saturday, 30% again as we get into Sunday. More on the weekend in a moment. Let's talk about the big picture. I mentioned some issues along the East Coast. We've got snow in New England and then widespread rain through the mid-Atlantic. That includes Baltimore, D.C., down into the Carolinas. That system's progressive, though. It's moving eastward. Behind it, stretching all the way down here to northern Mexico, this little area of low pressure is pinched off from the main flow, and that upper level swirl will continue to be overhead over the next couple of days. And particularly on Thursday, it's going to throw a little bit of energy and mid-level moisture our way, giving us a few sprinkles probably early on Thursday on your Thanksgiving. We're talking from before sunrise all the way through 2 p.m. We could have some of those sprinkles. Latest futurecast is shown here. And what I want to point out is, the futurecast shows a lot of coverage, but it's going to be very light in nature. I mean, we're talking low impact to travel around here and very minimal accumulations. Wherever you do see a little bit of that dampness on Thanksgiving morning, we're talking under 0.05 of an inch total is what you could get. Then by 2 o'clock, it really starts to clear out, and we end the day with some sunshine. So cloudy and a little bit of dampness early on Thanksgiving, and then turning sunny. Let's talk temperatures overall. 49 already. Dew point of 40. Wind has really dropped. Remember, the dew point, not just a measure of comfort level in terms of humidity, but also an indicator of just how low your temperature can drop, especially this time of year when we have the longer nights. And I do think we'll wake up to readings right near 40. Right now we've got widespread 40s to right near 50 degrees, but check out sunrise tomorrow. We're 36 Uvalde and Hondo, 39 Timberwood Park and Seguin, 40 in Stone Oak, 41 La Jolla and Elmendorf. So some mid-upper 30s, but I think we'll be above freezing all across the board. By noon, 61 degrees, and then a comfortable 65 and sunny by the afternoon. That's still below average for this time of year, and a light north wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For the most part, mid-60s tomorrow. Some locations, especially up into the hill country, some lower 60s, even Bernie at 62. Helotes about 62 for the high. The rest of us around 64. By Thanksgiving Day, low clouds early, even through the noon hour. Those isolated sprinkles the first half of the day. Then we get into the afternoon and evening and we clear out, and we'll have a high temperature right near 60. That's going to be the common theme, anywhere from 60 to 66 for high temperatures. The rest of this week through the weekend, a Sunday cold front hits. That'll drop the temperature a little bit by next Monday. We're looking at highs at that point in the mid 50s, but let's focus on some of those morning lows. I mentioned some chilly mornings out there. We'll be near 40 tomorrow, lower 40s Thursday and Friday to start the day. A little bump in morning temps this weekend, then it resets again.
Still, get the coats ready. Thank you.
All right, I know the Spurs are in the midst of a losing streak, but Victor Wembanyama has actually been playing pretty well, Mary.
He has, and you don't have to play on a great team to prove to the league that you're one of the best players in the league, especially as a rookie. And that's where Victor Wembanyama stands right now. He was a favorite coming into the year, and he still is. We'll check on that race now 1 month into the season. It's not Thanksgiving without Cowboys football. We'll see how the team is feeling amidst a quick turnaround. We're only about 4 weeks into the NBA season, and we're already seeing plenty of upside from this year's rookie class. One big question from the preseason has been answered. Spurs phenom Victor Wembanyama is looking like the once-in-a-generation talent that everyone projected him to be. And despite San Antonio's abysmal streak, Wemby's defense is already among the best in the league, averaging about 9 rebounds per game and 2.6 blocks per game. And despite his shot still developing, the rookie is averaging nearly 19 points a game. Now, OKC big Chet Holmgren possesses a lot of the same skill as Wemby, like being an elite rim protector. And while Wemby has a slightly better season stat line, where Chet has the edge is his overall offensive efficiency. Pistons' Azar Thompson, Charlotte's Brandon Miller, and Dallas's Derek Lively are also building their cases for the award that Orlando's Paolo Banchero won last year. Next, Wemby and the Spurs square off against the Clippers tomorrow night at 7. You'll want to tune in right here for For KSAT 12 Tip Up Plus, our 30-minute Spurs special is live from 6:30 to 7.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving is an annual tradition. The Cowboys own a 32-22-1 record on the holiday. On Thursday, Dallas and its elite pass rush will be going up against Washington and Sam Howell, who is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in recent NFL history. The Cowboys are coming off of a Week 11 win. The Commanders a loss, but both teams are dealing with a quick turnaround, and there's plenty of joy that comes from playing on Thanksgiving Day.
Playing on Thanksgiving is awesome. It really is. It's the hard part's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's really on the players. I think our coaches have absorbed it, and we're able to get in front of the game plan part of it. But playing the game is, once Thursday gets here, everybody's going to be really excited.
It's a crunch. You know what I'm saying? You've got to put everything that you normally put in a 5-day week or so. In 2 days, 2.5 days for that matter. And so it's fun. At the end of when you go back and you look at those 5 days, that's really what you're doing anyways, is you're starting it off in those 2.5 days and then just buttering it up, crossing T's, dotting I's.
All right, here's what today's participation looked like for the Dallas Cowboys. The team didn't hold practice yesterday, but if it did, CeeDee Lamb would have been limited. Today, he was a full participant. Jaron Kearse and Rico Dowdle were listed as non-participants today. Mike McCarthy said there's not a high level of concern with Lamb or Kearse in regards to availability come Thursday. The Houston Texans are in position to overtake the top spot in the AFC South on Sunday. Each week, the Texans have been taking steps in the right direction. Most recently, it was the defense who held off the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday at NRG Stadium, clutching up on the last drive of the game. The unit only allowed 2 yards in the final 4 plays of the game and forced a turnover on downs with 35 seconds left.
I think we still climbing. I think it's still, a lot of people coming back from injuries, people getting better. I think the best football is still in front of us, so we just gonna keep getting better. That's the goal.
The Texans and Jaguars kick off at noon on Sunday. Houston is looking to sweep the season series, and it's been a while since the Texans have played meaningful football in November. UTSA quarterback Frank Harris is garnering more national attention. More on his new accolades after the break. After the all-time showing quarterback Frank Harris put on display in UTSA's big win against South Florida, Harris has earned a pair of National Player of the Week honors, one being the Davey O'Brien Award Co-National QB of the Week, who he's sharing with Oregon QB Bo Nix. With 1 game left in the regular season, Harris reflecting on his improvement from the start of the season to now.
I didn't do any spring ball, did a little bit of a fall camp, so I was just getting out there playing against Houston, kind of, rusty, I guess you could say, to progress and then finally, knocking some rust off to the end of the season. So I just have credit to my teammates and the coaching staff for believing in me through the whole process, and I think now we're kind of reaping the benefits.
He really is. Harris and the Roadrunners will square off against nationally ranked Tulane in a battle for a spot in the AAC championship game this Friday.
And that game will be played on KSAT?
Yes, it will. ABC
All right.
on KSAT.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mary.
We'll be right back. So if you're looking for a way to give this holiday season, here's an easy way that you can do that. From now through December 12th, you can donate a pair of new shoes or socks to the Share the Shoes campaign through the organization Zapatos.
Yeah, you can drop off those donations at any of the 7 SAPD substations. Shoes and socks for toddlers to adult sizes are needed. We have all this information on KSAT.com.
You look at our month so far, temperature-wise, and we are 1.5 degrees above average. We're getting into a stretch of below-average temperatures. Keep in mind, the average morning low, 48. Most of the next 7 days will be well below that. The average afternoon high is 70 degrees. We won't be near it.
And quickly before we go, I want to bring you this update. The Amber Alert out of Kyle at the start of the newscast has been canceled. Those girls have been found.
And they're safe tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.